Everyone's Wednesday the 8th. This is Charlie Veach with your coronavirus update. We're here at Piccadilly Gardens in central Manchester. There's arrests being made. There's a large group of the street vulnerable people all gaggled together. There seems to be charities helping them, but it goes to show the 2-meter social distancing is impossible to enforce when you have vulnerable people who have mental health problems or other health problems, which makes them impossible almost to police. So we're going to have a walk around. I'm not going to be filming anyone directly because of the violence. The city centre is mostly now the homeless and the vulnerable, and God bless them. They do feel, I guess, targeted if people come out and start filming or try to do news reports or YouTube reports like this. So we'll keep it sensitive. Here's a wide shot of Piccadilly Gardens. You can see stuff that's going on everywhere. Here's the view down Market Street. As you can see, it's a little bit busier. This was obviously always going to happen as the news doesn't become too quickly apocalyptic. Then people slowly start emerging from their bunkers. And there's a lot of people out today. So as I always said, it was always too late to quarantine. It's the most infectious, contagious disease that I've ever seen in my lifetime. And so I think it'll just continue for a long time. So there's a solitary military C5 transport plane just circling around over Manchester. Just a random Chinook now, Royal Air Force transport or Army helicopter. Good morning from St. Anne's Square. Today is the 8th of April and there's more boarded up shops getting ready for the civil unrest. Now, the virus, as I said before, is the taster. And when the key workers, the essential workers, start feeling too ill or feeling too scared to deliver that food, people are going to smash stuff up. Hi everyone, it's the 9th, Thursday, the 9th of April. We're here in Bolton, lovely Bolton. It's a town near Manchester. The reason we're here and not in Manchester is there's too many crackheads in Manchester right now, as they call them locally. I think it's great, they call them bagheads. She's like, you're not skinning up until you've done all your chores. I don't care how tired you are, how much you want to have a smoke right now, just do your chores. Now she's like, oh, okay, so now you've smoked yourself into oblivion and you can't do any housework. Great. You're just gonna lie there on the sofa playing with your phone like a bloody deadbeat that you are. Just get up and do some work. Okay, it's starting to look like the film Contagion, where Jude Law wears his astronaut suit and walks around an abandoned world where there's no street cleaning, there's no bins. As you can see over here, the bins are all taped up. They're even expecting people to catch the bug off the bins. You all seen how nice central Bolton is? It's like Bath. It's like Edinburgh. It's like Regent Street in London. My God, it's lovely. Just massive queues out of every supermarket. It's getting more apocalyptic. I don't like this. Can you imagine? You forget one item. Oh yeah, I forgot the garlic. Just gonna queue for another hour. No problem. Hi all, we're back in Salford. We're outside Salford City Council, the town hall here in Swinton. Just a few figures to let you all know. Do you remember about 2 weeks ago we were praising Germany? Deutschland. We were praising Germany for having, say, 10,000 cases and like 1 fatality with a mortality rate of 0.000000000. Well, their mortality rate's at around 2% now. That's Germany. Germany mortality rate. And when you compare that to the pandemic, to end all pandemics, the Spanish flu. Oh, hi. Sorry. Thank you. So when you, thank you. I promise it's essential business. So when you compare the Spanish flu, the pandemic, to end all pandemics, that was a mortality rate of 2%. Even Deutschland, even Germany, the pinnacle of healthcare and efficiency and keeping people alive this century, they're at 1.8%. Now, the Diamond Princess, which is like a closed ship. Remember the cruise, the cruise about a month ago that was stuck in Japan, and every day, oh, another 50 infected on the Diamond Princess. That got nicknamed the Yokohama Plague Ship because it was birthed off Yokohama with no one allowed to come to shore. Now they've got, that's a closed system. There's no more Diamond Princess. Of their, no, I don't remember the exact figures, but it works out at exactly 1.5% mortality. Now the entire planet, when you take your 1.6 million cases and divide it by 96,000, it's gone up 1,000 in the last hour since I last did this video. So I did the last video. We have an official rate, 6%. But when you take the Charlie Veitch Randy Pan alarmist man death rate, we're not looking at who has it right now because they may recover, they may die. They are literally Schrodinger's dead person. They're alive and dead until they actually die. I like to look at the closed cases. There's about 336,000 closed cases, and 21% of those have died. That's not good, man. Let's say this is a 20% mortality rate pandemic, 10 times worse than the Spanish flu. No wonder the governments locked everyone down. No wonder we saw China react as if it was like, as if they'd set off 20 Chernobyls in Wuhan. I mean, did you see that industrial reaction? Welding people inside their homes, dumping 2 tons of earth outside the front door so you can't open the front door. Bloody hell. You know, this, speaking of Chernobyl, you know, the official death toll from Chernobyl from the Soviets was 27 or 33, one of those, a small number. And the international comunidad, they said the real death toll from Chernobyl was about 34,000. Coronavirus, which increasingly, and I don't know, and neither do you know, but there's increasing amounts of people saying it was leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. There's apparently some female staffer there who has been disappeared. Very interesting. Apparently it doesn't trace back to the Wuhan seafood market. Apparently they weren't even selling bats at the Wuhan seafood market. It's a good cover story if you're conspiracy minded, which I like to be sometimes, but I'm very aware that these are theories without evidence. We might as well be coming up with even more extravagant theories. But China's Chernobyl, it's already killed. Probably by the time you watch this on YouTube, it'll be 100,000 people. Now that's a medium-sized, a small to medium-sized city, and that's just in the first 2 months that it's been an international issue. We all know China's lying about their figures. The real dead in China. Why are they switching on equipment? The real figures in China, probably about 100,000 to 200,000 dead. I'm going to shoot this video somewhere else now. I don't like industrial noise. All I'm about to talk about here has nothing to do with coronavirus, but where I am here, this is like where Asda, Morrisons, you got your big delivery trucks reversing over here. And this is a good one. A big truck reversing, very gentle, very gentle, very gentle, and smash. Fucked it. It's still the 9th of April. The panic buying's returned. Lots of empty shelves again. I'm seeing bigger and bigger queues, lines, people queuing around the block to try and buy some food. This is the slowest disaster movie I've ever sat through. I want a refund. Again, there was people being ordered, and again, this is the problem when there's a time of crisis. Unfortunately, people who get a thrill out of pushing others around, barking orders, being bullies, being little cunts, they come out of the woodwork. Suddenly the lights are off and all the little cockroaches are out, scuttling around the kitchen, barking orders at people. There was a guy, maybe about my age, you know, and he was kicking off in his German accent. And then he shouted, he goes, "This is exactly what it was like in East Germany." And I was like, that's interesting. So I went up to him in the tills. We're in the self-service things, which you're not allowed to go with trolleys now. You need a basket. So doing beep, beep, beep. I said, "Oh, my name's Charlie. I run a YouTube channel. I'd love to have a 1-minute interview with you about your comparison of lockdown Britain to East Germany in the 70s, 80s, whenever he was alive and remembering it." He declined, and I even cracked. I said, "Dude, don't worry. There's no Stasi here. Not yet." And then he said, no. And I said, "Look, one of my favorite films, The Lives of Others, that's Leben der Anderen. It won an Oscar, Best Foreign Film, and that warmed him up." But maybe he was just shy, you know. Maybe he just thought I was a dick. But fuck's sake, I'm I'm not optimistic about this virus. I'm not going to say things I've said in earlier iterations of today's rant, but what I believe is going to happen is the lockdowns across the world are going to slowly be phased out. Not this month, maybe not even next month. This is crazy. You know, Wuhan, they've let everyone out to reinfect and go nuts now after 76 days. That's 2.5 months. I reckon it'll be 3 months here. Britain, we're losing 1,000 a day. America, 2,000 a day. Spain, still 500. Now, I saw a BBC report, a video report that actually, it made my testes fall out of my ballsack out of depression. And the guy was saying, oh, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg of the coronavirus deaths. Literally, these are only people that die with it that are confirmed. There's care homes, nursing homes, people at home, the homeless. He said there's an order of magnitude out. So let's say 800 people die in Spain. What this guy was saying is actually 8,000. So when we look at the 100,000 deaths around the world, it might be 1 million already. We don't know. But again, I try and avoid this whole hypothetical. You know, we have what we can see, we have what's proven, we have what we can actually look at, the maths. We have 1.6 million cases, we have 100,000 deaths. It's not looking good. It's about 6%, as I keep reiterating. Maybe the repetition is key to make these videos really hit home. Do not be in denial about the virus. Jesus fucking Christ. It's funny, the neighbors, a guy lives with his elderly mum. Kids come running out of the house and he's like, Mom, get back inside, because every kid's a potential plague carrier now. Weird fucking times. Oh yeah, what's going to happen is they're going to slowly phase out the lockdowns, not because coronavirus is going away, but because there's fuck all else to do. Sweden's chosen a different route. Nobody knows what's happening. I'm losing my voice from shouting at the kids so much. Kids are amazing health and safety consultants. You can make your house as safe as is humanly possible, and the kids will find ways to hurt themselves. You know, like, ooh, fence over a staircase, I'll climb over it, or etc., etc. Anyway, I've had enough ranting. This is enough for today's update. Take it seriously. I'm not going to say stay at home, because I'm not at home. None of my videos are at home. What's the point of saving 50,000 grannies and granddads if the time they would have had to live is in quarantine, and all the young people are in quarantine and the future is finished? What's the point? Mr. Hindsight Man here. 3 months ago, we should have kept the schools open. We should have encouraged orgies, fucking big music festivals, mixing the ages. We should have just fucking let this virus do what it's doing and then fuck off. Albert Camus, one of my favorite philosophers, Frenchman, very smoking the shit and existentialism, post-World War II. He got famous for his book, The Stranger. I think he won the Nobel Prize for Literature for The Rebel. The Rebel's a fantastic book, but a quote of his that's doing the rounds on Facebook right now is, "The welfare of humanity is always the alibi of tyrants." And there's obviously Thomas Jefferson, if you like a bit more of a American slant to your quotes. "He who swaps freedom for security deserves neither. The welfare of humanity is always the alibi of tyrants." And here's the thing, there's so many little fucking Stalins running around. Like, I'm seeing people posting notes, people leaving notes, curtains twitching. You're going out a second time today, they're phoning the hotline. There was a story that in today's Manchester News, I don't know what the paper's called, that was 1,000 house parties, raves, barbecues broken up by Greater Manchester Police over the weekend. And they're saying the hotline to report your dissident have never been busier. Look, this is all starting to unravel. It's all starting to get a bit insane. It's all starting to go mad. I'm starting to look at things in the house in a new way, going, wow, I never realized the edge of my bed could be so exciting and new and different. But that might be the kind of 4 dried grams of magic mushroom that I'm taking daily to get me through this psychologically. I'm only kidding. I'm not taking drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. I mean, if you do drugs, you might... See, this is the thing. It's hot. It's sweaty. I switched the air conditioning off so you could hear me with my raspy voice. But that is today's coronavirus update. Charlie Veach, 9th of April, still alive, still healthy, and so are the family, so God bless. It's still the... Just the last thing I want to say today, on the 9th, is that I speak to a lot of people when I go out and shoot my videos. A lot of people stand around and listen to me rant, and then when I stop filming, they chat to me, and I chat to them. Sometimes they know who I am, most of the time they just think there's some deranged American guy lost in Manchester. Anyway, everyone I speak to, or most people I speak to, myself included, believes that this pandemic is a lot worse than the governments and the medical professions and the international community are telling us. And that's for a very good reason. And I do not agree with the reason, but the reason is to prevent a much bigger panic than the one we've already had. Now, Spanish flu, 2%, very bad. They've been telling everyone around the world, it's like a daily message to the peasants, to the proles, to the masses. They say, look, 1%, 99% make it. And then there's that Bloomberg article a few days ago, oh, 99% had underlying health conditions. Oh, you're fine, you're fine. You're not fine. This is a horrible thing that's tearing through the planet. So most people I chat to believe that millions are going to die around the world, and the world governments are keeping people docile and calm at the same time as doing a most powerful lockdown in history. There's never been a lockdown like this. Not even World War II, not even Chernobyl, not even 3 Mile Island or fucking the other disasters made people under house arrest. So everyone's bluffing, everyone's playing along, everyone's LARPing, live action role playing, especially the governments. This is going to tear through society. It's going to rip our culture a new arsehole, and life is not going to be the same before. There's not going to be things like Starbucks and McDonald's and other places. There's not going to be nightclubs the way you've known them. There'll be similar things, but not under the same bloody way we've done it. Our industrial way of living is leading to our industrial way of dying. Even in New York, one city getting 1,000 dead a day recorded. They're talking about filling the public parks with dead bodies, burying them in the park. They can't cremate them. They're not going to transport them. There's nowhere to bury them. Guys, when they're burying bodies in public parks in New York City, you know that this is bad. To not be ranting, bad at the screen to end it. Look, trust in God. Believe in yourself. Believe in love. Stay positive. Have a sunny outlook. Eat healthily. Try and do a bit of exercise. All your vices and things, like all these funny ideas you've had, quit them, because now this is survival mode. Panic buying is back. 2-hour waits now to buy food. It's getting worse every day. Switch on. It's not 5G. It's not the Illuminati. Bill Gates is not developing a vaccine to wipe you out. Take the virus seriously. That's all I have to say. Peace out.